Two unexpected moves from the Browns just shook the fan base and left analysts scratching their heads. The first directly impacts the young QB competition, with a quiet roster move that could change everything for Week 1. The second? It involves a massive contract, a big-name player, and a potential comeback no one saw coming. These are the latest breaking updates out of Cleveland, and they could shift the course of the season. If you're a true fan, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Let's get into it. So here's the scoop. After the Browns shipped Kenny Pickett off to the Raiders, it looked like rookie QBs Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders were sliding up the pecking order behind the old vet Joe Flacco. But just when it seemed like Sanders might be in the mix for that QB3 emergency role, Cleveland pulled a sneaky move, bringing back Bailey Zappe to the practice squad. Now, this ain't just some random depth chart shuffle. Browns insider Tony Grossi stirred the pot Wednesday night, hinting that Zappe might actually take that QB3 slot for Week 1 against the Bengals. And it makes some sense. Zappe's not a stranger. He spent 11 weeks on the Browns practice squad last season and even started the finale against Baltimore. He knows Stefanski's system, which is more than you can say for Sanders at this point. Let's be real. Shedeur didn't exactly dazzle in the preseason finale against the Rams. He got sacked 5 times and only completed 3 of 6 passes for a measly 14 yards. Former NFL QB Akili Smith even went on record saying that Dillon Gabriel is straight up ahead of Sanders right now when it comes to dealing with NFL defenses, and that Sanders has a long way to go before he's ready for any real action. Coach Stefanski made it clear that Gabriel, not Sanders, is Joe Flacco's primary backup heading into the season opener. And then, not so subtly, the Browns went out and signed Zappe, which kind of screams, yeah, we're not quite there yet with Shedeur. Now, GM Andrew Berry is still saying all the right things. He's really happy with Sanders being part of the program, and they're not tossing him to the curb or anything. But if you read between the lines, it's obvious the Browns see Sanders as more of a long-term project than an immediate answer. He's got the raw tools, sure, but right now, he's not sniffing the field unless disaster strikes. And if that roster shakeup surprised you, this next update just dropped and could put Deshaun Watson right back in the spotlight. So here's the latest twist. Deshaun Watson, who's been on the shelf after tearing and then re-tearing his Achilles, could actually be back in the mix this season. According to Mary Kay Cabot, the Browns' top brass, owner Jimmy Haslam, GM Andrew Berry, and head coach Kevin Stefanski recently checked out one of Watson's workouts and apparently walked away thinking, okay, maybe there's something here. Now, Cabot laid out a pretty wild but not impossible scenario. If we hit the trade deadline in early November and rookie Dillon Gabriel is doing all right, and let's say a team comes sniffing around for Joe Flacco, maybe a contender needing a savvy vet, the Browns could trade Flacco, bump Watson onto the 53-man roster, and roll with Gabriel as the starter while keeping Shedeur Sanders in development mode. That'd make Watson the break glass in case of emergency backup for the second half of the season. This all hinges on a few major ifs. First off, Watson's got to actually be cleared and healthy, and willing to take on a backup role, which is no small ask for a dude on a $230 million guaranteed deal. But if he's not on the active roster after being cleared, Cleveland would either have to release him or stash him somewhere. And you better believe they're not eating that contract without a serious fight. Also worth noting, DraftKings isn't exactly bullish on Cleveland this year. As of Thursday, they've got the Browns at Pully's 950 to make the playoffs, the worst odds in the league. So if the team is sitting near the bottom of the standings by their Week 9 bye, they might be in full see-what-the-young-guys-can-do mode anyway. The Browns are playing chess with pieces they're still figuring out. Sanders looks like a long-term bet, and Watson might return in a wild twist. Stay locked in. Subscribe for all the latest.